So you have $2 million dollars and you want to know, can you stop working right now if you'd like to? And how much can you spend? That's today's case study. It's going to be really simple and a lot of fun. Now, you know this is a fun episode. I know I say that word a lot. When I'm wearing the cauliflower shirt, if you are not aware of the cauliflower shirt, check out the comments. And if you're a longtime listener/viewer, please let others know what this means so that they're inside the jokes as well. So, guys, here's what today's going to be. It's a real case study. I'm going to show you the couple right now. So this is the couple. I went back and forth with this person, which I'm going to show you in just a second, so you can see why I decided to correspond with them. But you can see there's a real person. Their name is Brett. I'm removing their last name and children's names for security reasons. Brett's 57. Wife is 59. Two children. Two child sound weird. 34 and 31. And you can see these are their assets, which we're going to go through in more detail today. They've got about nearly a $5 million net worth. Investment-wise, you can see various accounts. $16,000 in a Roth IRA. You can see nearly $500,000 in a rollover IRA. They have $60,000 in an HSA. They've got a good amount of cash, about $120,000. They've got some small 401ks, small Roth IRAs, and then their primary 401k, as well as Bitcoin and a few other Roth 401ks. So lots of good stuff that we want to dive into. This is what today's going to be all about. Now, I'm going to show you this is how this occurs. So how do I pick someone for something like this? This is our community. Many of you are enrolled in this right now. You can see over 1,000 of you guys are here, of which many of you are online right now. This is where you can go, and I'm going to post things like, hey, I'm going to do a live case study. Is this something that you want to be a part of? If so, for example, and I'll allude to a few different things, but if you click the live shows page right here, and this is something that you want to do, I will say, hey, drop your name in terms of the academy. So this, where Brett went in here to enter all of his information, this was through the Early Retirement Academy. This is where any of you can go if you just want to start building your own plan today. You don't get one-on-one financial guidance, but you can run your own what-if scenarios and analysis and conversions and have some fun. So Brett, you can see Brett here. I said, hey, Brett, you've been awesome pretty much chatting and being active in this community. I'm going to use your account for a case study. Just FYI, I'm going to change your name always for security reasons. I'll send you the video. And he said, that's great. So because of that, that's who we're going to be going over today. Here's where I start with all of my case studies. I will start with I need to know about this family. Okay, so Brett, no idea if he loves his job, hates his job. I can see here his wife. There's a small age gap there. Wife is older. So my first thought, my brain goes to, let me make myself a little bigger. My brain goes to, okay, Social Security timing. Just letting you know, this is how my brain works. I go to children. Okay, so no longer college expenses, but do we want to help them with a down payment? Is there any grad school? Did a child decide to go back to work and need some help at home? Okay, just thoughts. Obviously, if this is a client, I'd want to ask all of these questions, but I only get so much time on these case studies and with clients. So I'm looking here going, okay, so what is this other? Okay, other. So I see some lifestyle things. What the heck is this? Maybe we own, a property on a lake and we're not renting it out. So it's just something we want to have. Maybe, whatever it is. Sometimes it's a car, but I see these are lifestyle things. I can click into them and go, okay, is there a plan of sale? Are there growth of these assets? No, pretty simple. I can go here and go, okay, so we own a home. I have no idea if they want to downsize. I have no idea about a gazillion different things. But too often people are like, I don't know, it depends, without going deep enough. So I like going deeper. So I'm looking here going, so there's a mortgage. Now this person, they have assets. They could decide to go pay off the mortgage. And it's one of the things I would consider them to actually do because you just sleep better at night. Now, let's go inside here. You guys want to guess their mortgage rate? I'm going to show it in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 3.75. Look, it's going to be tough to beat that. So here's conventional logic. Hey, why wouldn't I pay down the minimum, so whatever the smallest payment they allow, and maybe I just invest the rest? Not saying I'm going to get 10% like the S&P 500, but if I get 6%, I'm going to come out on top, right? Like, why don't I pay down the minimum and then invest the rest? Hey, that sounds good. But you know what's going to feel better in retirement? Not having a mortgage. It's one less expense, one less thing to worry about. So for someone like this, if they had $500,000 in here, I'd say, hey, don't go take 500,000 and go pay it off. It's probably not going to make a lot of sense. In this case, I'm like, look, maybe he takes the cash here, maybe a little bit from another account, and you pay it off and you just don't worry. Now, what am I skipping here? Well, we have no idea when they want to stop working. Let's check. Okay, so here's the big moment. Okay, so Brett's planning on no longer working at age 58. So you can see today he's 57, birthday in May. So it looks like he's going to stop working in a few months here. Great. Like, I love that. If he was planning to stop working at 65, I'd go, that's cool as well, but it changes things. My next thing is, it looks like he wants to spend $5,000 a month. Okay, I have no issues with that. Just so you all know, some of you are like, oh my gosh, I know you guys, okay? Ready for this? How many of you are thinking this? And be honest with me. We're transparent here. Whoa, I have $2 million and I want to spend like $10,000 a month. So like, am I not going to be okay? No, that's head trash. You have no idea this person's legacy goals or travel goals or lifestyle. Really, $5,000 a month, that might be like his basics. That also might be him going, no, that's everything I want and more. Don't have the head trash and go, I don't have 3 million or 5 million. Can I not retire? Get that out of your head. Most people are in a better spot than they think. Next thing here, healthcare. Yeah, you got to plan for this. What are we going to do until Medicare hits? That's 65. I'll talk about that in a bit. Long-term care. So they've decided to plan on the most aggressive option here. If they want a nursing home, the national average, 116,000. That's for 2 years. What if it's 4 years? We could put that in the plan. We could do whatever we want. I like 2 years for them. Now, they may have gone through a deep long-term care analysis. If they have, great. But if they have not, I would go deeper on this because 2 years, 2.5 is the actual average. So I like planning on 3 at a minimum. Love that they did this. A lot of you, if you're in the academy, you have not done this. I'm not angry at you, but I'm not happy with you because I need you to plan for things like this. So they're saying they're going to buy a new car every 10 years. It starts in 2030, so in 5 years from now, and that's forever. Love that they're planning on this. And they're just buying them outright. Yeah, they could lease or finance, but it's just simpler this way. What the heck is this? Go-Go travel. Is this like those Go-Go yogurt thing? No, it's not like those. How many of you remember those, by the way? Maybe for your children. Those, I forget what they're called, Go-Gurts or something like that. Anyway, do you remember Go-Gurts? Let me know. Go travel. What this is this is the years they have their energy and their health. We want to travel. So they just put a placeholder in. I don't imagine luxurious travels happening on a buck. They put slow go travels. Now they're slowing down, but still traveling, and then no go travel. Love, love, love. They get a lot of points in my book for this. Next thing is they're planning, hey, helping out a child with a wedding. What about a new roof? What about kitchen updates? What about an HVAC? What about remodel? What about more cash on hand? You can see they're thinking about college. Okay, so college, grandkids college, gifting, legacy. They've done it right. So kudos to this person. Now, you guys don't all need to go to this detail, but the reason I like doing this is because if you want to put in like a single trip, huge vacation for the family, $30,000 for that one trip. If you see the impact on your plan that you're still going to be okay, it's going to be easier to spend that money. So let me show you how this works. But before I do, finishing it up real quick, their income today. Okay, so Brett, $123,000, wife does not work, small pension, other income from an ADU now, so that means they're renting it out, and it's going to end in 2033, brings in $9,000 a year. Future ADU, okay. Inheritance, they're planning on a little bit of that. Social Security, so he put in here, he might file as of now age 70, $3,400 a month benefit for that. Wife here, so this tells me that the wife also worked because this is higher than the spousal benefit. So once again, wife could decide as soon as Brett collects to start taking half of the age 70. Just kidding. Tried to trick you guys. Only half of the full retirement age benefit. So for example, let's assume wifey did not work. Well, wife cannot get half of the age 70 benefit. Wife can get half of the full retirement age benefit. So that is important to note. Now I go here and I see, well, it looks like she has her own benefit. So what's better, half of full retirement or their own benefit? That's what you have to do the analysis on. Next thing here, are they saving any money today? Okay, Brett's doing a Roth 401k. Good for him because he's 401k heavy and in that pre-tax account. And then he's maxing out his HSA. What we're going to be glossing over, but touching on still today as well, is what are the investments he actually has? So inside the Roth IRA, what do I see in here? Okay, so he's got S&P 500 stuff, some dividend stuff. My first thought is I don't like this. Think about what a dividend is. A dividend is a company saying, thank you so much for owning this company. We're going to pay you out a dividend, almost as a thank you to shareholders. What we have to ask ourselves as investors are, would I rather have a dividend, or would I rather me not get paid this dividend, have the company reinvest it and innovate to grow to make me even more money? That's called total return. So dividends aren't bad, but are we owning them in the right account? This Roth IRA is the best account for long-term growth. You can see here the software is even calculating 96% of your money is invested for growth. 4%, yeah, it could grow for you, but it's not going to be in the optimal way that it's growing. So I don't love this. At the same time, and this is what I'd want to spend a lot of time with my clients on, this is called a matrix book. Not going to bore you guys to death, but this is something that us advisors really nerd out over. And the point here is I tell people, don't trust what I have to say or my partner James or anyone you see online when it comes to investing of pick this stock, or it's just historically proven not to work. Don't try to outguess the market, beat the market. We always say time in the market, not timing the market. So the point here, why I'm showing you this is just looking at history for a second. I even say don't rely on that for everything. But the point here is if we look at this chart here, the S&P 500 index, if you put $1 in, it grew to $14,000 over 100 years. That's cool. That's why you invest. This fancy chart with a gazillion numbers that make me feel like I'm super fancy, it's the same exact thing that you're seeing right here. This is just prettier. Average return, 10%. You can see I can go to the bottom corner here and see here's the average return, 10.5%. It's the same thing. Why is this important? Well, there's certain types of investments that historically have done even better. Large cap value, $1 became 21,000, not 14,000. Small companies, $1 became 47,000. Small value companies, $1 became 134,000. So some of you are like, okay, but I'm not going to get like 20% returns. I go, that's correct. And you don't need to. Just looking historically at the performance of this here, 13.4%. That's the average. There's something this makes me bring up that I want to show you guys. So it might be on this one. It might be on a different one. But this was someone who came to me. I know I'm jumping all over, but I like to do this for fun. If this is not fun, let me know, okay? But I try to keep it engaging. This was a real person I spoke to in May last year, and they came to me, and this was their portfolio. So nearly everything, this was their 401k, 1.4 million. It had a T. Rowe Price fund and a ClearBridge fund and a BlackRock fund and a Fidelity fund, and here's the different weights and value of each. And I said, hey, what if you just used all Vanguard? And the first thing that I told them is I said, hey, you might not know it today, but your 401k has limited options. There's about 10 or 15 options. And so I'm not saying they're terrible. You have to pick from one of them, but you're paying $10,000 a year in annual fees on your 401k, when the reality is if you used all Vanguard, it could be closer to $800 a year. And they're like, you're going to save me like about, $9,200 right now. I go, yeah. I mean, theoretically, if you were to shift the investments, now if these have performed better, that's a different story. But in this case, that wasn't what was happening. The reason I want to show this is if you look at their current portfolio, this is what it looks like. And this is many of you. So of the percentage that are equities in their portfolio, which once again, let's go up here. This is a blue chip growth fund. This is a growth fund. This is a global allocation. It's primarily growth investments. You can see here, 94% of what they have is stocks. And then they have a little bit of bonds, a little cash. The point here is of the equities they have, here's the mix, okay? 64% is in large growth. This is the S&P 500. A blend of it is between large and growth. They have very few mid-sized companies and no small companies. And if you remember what I just showed you a second ago, These small companies have historically performed the best. So don't get me mixed up here and say, I want you to all have small companies. I'm saying if you want to optimize in the Roth IRA, which you're not going to touch for a very long time, maybe we have more of these small companies. You can see if I just did a Vanguard comparison, I just want more diversification. And the reason for this is if the S&P 500 keeps doing really well, awesome. But if it doesn't, this person will be in a tough spot because they're relying on that to perform well. And if it doesn't, it's not like they can go somewhere else and create income easily. It's almost like they're unintentionally trying to hit a triple or a home run, if you're a baseball fan, when I'd rather have consistent singles and doubles in retirement. So the point here is I would love to do this on every single account here. In light of time here, the rollover IRA, you can see I can see it's an 80-20 portfolio, and I see a lot of individual positions. So I'd ask, why not own an ETF and just be way more efficient, especially since there's no tax implications. Let's look at the cash that they're holding. Okay, but $120,000 in cash. I imagine that's because they have a low emergency fund here. Their 401k, this is the big one. So you guys, I guessed it right there. They have limited options. They did a good job. It looks like, I'm happy to see this. Their 401k is, you can see institutional index, largely growth, bond market index. It's a good mix. It's not optimal, but you can see 5.7% of this is in a Roth. Nothing I'm freaking out over. Bitcoin, look, if you want to have a little bit as a hedge, great. Obviously, don't rely on it for retirement. So with that being said, we haven't even got to the retirement planning. I'm 17 minutes in. This is how a case study, in my opinion, should be broken down. Because now you guys know this couple. The one thing I did, which I know confuses you, is I brought up a different example. The reason I did that is because here's someone with 1.4 in a 401k, and there's a real person I spoke to in May of last year who has about 1.4 in a 401k. So it's not the same mix, but when my brain thinks of something that I think might resonate, I'm going to show it to you. Here's what we're really getting into. All of this until now, this is like a warm-up. It's like when you go to your workout class. I go to hot yoga. We're 30 minutes in. Okay, warm-up is completed. Who's ready to start the workout? Everyone's like, oh, what do you mean? Like, we've been doing it. So with that being said, there's so much I want to do. I want to go to tax. And anyways, this might be a longer video than I intended. Here's my point. This is what the plan shows they're on track for. Big disclaimers here, okay? So the first big disclaimer here is these are their assets. 57 years old, gonna retire soon. And it always will, by the way, default to the younger person. He's going to stop working in about 6 months. So their plan looks great on paper, right? Here's the thing. What if long-term care is 3 years, not 2 years? You can go make a change that easily and see the impact. Okay, so they're still okay. Yeah, there's $708,000 fewer dollars, but it still shows they're on track for, 8.2 million instead of 8.9. Like, they're fine. The next thing, though, is that travel. So what is go-go travel? Let's click in and see. Every year, starting in 2026, ending in 2037. If we were doing a live show, I'd let you guys guess, but I'm just going to put $25,000 a year. I have no idea. Then the next 10 years, it's $15,000 a year. Then it's another $10,000 a year. Okay, I haven't shifted investments, no tax strategy, nothing, right? Well, let's show what their plan says now. Okay, they're still in a good spot. There's $5 million left over. It's not $9 million, but they're still in a really good spot. And this is him retiring in the next few months. Sometimes I'll do this with someone and go like, hey, are you like, I'm intentionally retiring next year? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you should work like 7 more years. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I don't want you to run out of money. So the point here is this person's in a really good spot. They should feel good about it. If they wanted to go in and do a bigger remodel for, $40,000 and update their kitchen for $55,000, and they want to leave, $1 million legacy wise in addition to their homes, and start upping the college fund where their goal is that they could put, $5,000 a year in it, which is not what I'm saying they're doing, or $10,000 to children. The reason I'm kind of putting these different things in here is because I want you to dream. If you are thinking about retirement, you should be dreaming. And the last thing you should do is retire and go, I think I can get by, but I just don't know. And you don't want to retire and then go, why can't I spend what I really want? So I just had this client hypothetically dream, and now there's 1.7 left over, not 9 million. That's assuming they do all the travel they want to do, huge amounts of travel. They're also updating a roof and a kitchen and a remodel and leaving $1 million to kids. And maybe that's not their goal. But the reason for this is if this person goes, no, this sounds actually kind of like what I'm looking for, they have options. The first option is they could spend less and go, I want to at least have $2 million to leave. Because right now it shows 1.7. Okay, switch go travel to 20,000 a year and boom, you're done. But maybe they're like, no, I don't want to sacrifice travel. I just work so hard to accumulate this. Well, now it shows 2.3 million, the proposed plan at the end. They might go, no, it turns out, Ari, I actually was wrong. I want to spend 30,000 a year, but I want to up my, I'm willing to work longer to make that happen. So I'll work till 60 if I have to, if I can spend 30,000 a year and leave $2 million behind. Okay, well now by them working a little bit longer, it helped in a big way. 3.6 million is at the end. This is assuming moderate growth throughout retirement, which is what I like as a base. What the heck is moderate growth? It's about 7% growth with 3% inflation that is already included in this plan. So that's a 4% real return. That's realistic, but they might be more subject to volatility. It might not bother them. Well, if you were to put up more of a growth portfolio, yeah, that's going to change things. Like now you're in a way better spot. At the same time, if you were to say, I want more of a conservative portfolio, which I think is unnecessarily conservative, and you never want to be so unrealistic that you worry yourself to death in retirement planning. But you could see if they were super conservative, which by the way is like 3% inflation, 5% growth. That's like 2% real return, unrealistic. You could either be about 600,000 left over. So this isn't me saying, hey, go freak out. I have clients that have 10 million that will find a way to not retire. And what they're doing is they're just so worried. It feels so weird to retire, especially early, that they're finding a way to go, oh, you're right, I knew there was something I missed. When that's honestly the cheap way out. Like you need to do proper planning, proper analysis, and go, okay, what rates of return do I want to rely on? Today we didn't have time, but the Social Security timing makes a big difference. Like if you collect at a certain age versus another age, I mean, it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars as a difference when it comes to retirement planning. And so depending on different strategies, it can make sense to collect early. It can make sense to delay. And the big one that I did not have time to go over today, it is tax strategy. I'm going to spend a little bit on it because I can't help myself. But the point here is tax strategy is big. You can see you can add hundreds of thousands of dollars over retirement. Now, this is going to change on various factors here. So this is showing this person doing Roth conversions. And it's saying they should do Roth conversions, that's all the green here, to at least fill up the 22% bracket, which will become the 25% bracket, because if they don't, they're going to have these big distributions and essentially be in a higher tax bracket in the future. AKA, they should eat some cauliflower during these early retirement years. Now, let's assume their children are in a super high tax bracket and they inherit the money. Well, it's going to show a Roth conversion is more valuable here because the children are inheriting it at a higher tax bracket. On the flip side, if the children are not in a high tax bracket, it's not going to show a Roth conversion is as valuable. And in certain situations, it will show it not making sense to do a Roth conversion. So don't be so conversion happy that you start running these things and go, well, I need to do it no matter what. What I recommend for everyone is you either have an advisor, but here's someone that's working today. So they bring in $140,000 a year. They have interest and dividends and capital gains. Go play out what your income is going to look like in retirement. So you're no longer going to have W-2 income. You're going to have IRA income. Go play out. Are you going to have interest and dividends? Like essentially make fake returns and project out over future years what that's going to look like so that when you're doing real tax planning, which is once again, this is where it gets complicated. Like for my client, I'd want to go, okay, here's their tax return hypothetically today. They make $140,000 a year. They have interest and dividends and yada, yada. What about if I just click 2031? Well, they're no longer working today. What's this $9,000 a year? I don't know. Maybe this is rental income. Maybe they put it incorrectly in the software. I don't know. What's this taxable amount? Oh, we need to live off of money. So is it from a brokerage account? Okay, that seems odd. Are we realizing gains? Are we going to pull from an IRA? How are we going to live? So this is, where you need to really go in and do proper tax strategy. That's why most people are hiring us, to be completely transparent, is to delegate everything with a large emphasis on the tax strategy. Insurance, all of this needs to be looked at. I'm not going to go. long-term care planning, there's a really cool tool that you can go into depth and go, yep, what if it turns out there's this benefit, I need this premium, and you can go to a ton of detail there. And then this is a nice feature. I'm not going to click on it, but it's a vault. So what that is if anything happens to Brett or Brett's wife or any child, they can go in and see all of the documents in a nice, easy spot. So once again, if you're watching going, I want access to this, that is what this Academy tool is for. Go in and make your own plan, just like Brett did. At the same time, this is a really cool community that we have because you can go in here and learn from other people. So if you're like, I don't have 2 million, but I want to one day, there's people in here saying, hey, look, thousands of people going in, maybe hundreds, not thousands. I was getting ahead of myself, saying, here's what I wish I would have done. Here's great advice. I wish I did X, Y, Z. So definitely, this is a free community. Anyone can go in here and you can go, explain your favorite book, or if you should do Roth conversions at 25, or what to do if your spouse is 11 years younger than you, and with this superhero account I talk about. So for this person, they're in a good spot. I want them to know that. Yeah, if I could dream just being an advisor, would I love that they had way more money in a superhero account or their trust account, brokerage account? Yeah, that's what I think is missing. I like that he's contributing to his account Roth today because he already has a lot of pre-tax money. I would consider largely paying off the mortgage if he's going to sleep better. Maybe that's what this is for, but I have no idea if that's a goal. I don't know if debt bothers him. This is a case study. If you are like, oh my gosh, I want this level of analysis for me specifically for just a gut check. Obviously, I can't give one-on-one guidance because compliance-wise, you're not a client. Drop a comment on this YouTube video or in the community and say, hey, yep, I definitely want to do a case study. The requirements for that, you have to be in this academy so that I can at least see your assets, because if I just input it, I'm not going to do it to the degree that you know, because I didn't say that properly. I'm not going to put it exactly as you see fit, because if you say, I want to spend $10,000 a month, but you don't tell me that's more at the beginning and then a little less and it's going to change later, it's not going to be optimal for you. So you have to be in the academy. And then if you want to be on camera, I'm going to be doing a live show. I'm actually going to be doing that every Wednesday where I'm going to bring someone on and do it with them. But I'm also going to offer this to people who are like, hey, I just don't want to be on camera. I'm camera shy. I still want a case study to be done. So this is an option for all of you out there. I know this was a longer video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. All I ask is if you did, please like it, share it, comment below, and I'll see you guys next time.